Hey guys, this is Nathan from Fast Intentions. I'm currently editing our 11th episode, which you're probably trying to listen to right now. It's Tuesday night, so it's a night after the Monday Night Football game between the Bengals and the Bills, in which Damar Hamlin unfortunately suffered a cardiac arrest and collapsed on the football field and was rushed to emergency medical facility, a hospital, and he's currently in critical condition. It just felt. I know we recorded this Monday morning, right before the game happened, but it just didn't feel like uploading a podcast where we talked about sports and we're trying to have a good time without mentioning this horrific event that occurred the night before. Our thoughts and our prayers are with Damar Hamlin and his family. I wanted to give a shout out to the NFL and the NFL Players Association for deciding not to play the game, because human life is much more important than a stupid football game with playoff implications. That doesn't matter. A young man's life is in danger. And so props to them for ending it, and props to Zach Taylor, Sean McDermott, and the coaching staffs of both teams recognizing that. And we just wish Damar Hamlin and his family the best. Hopefully he can make a full recovery. And, unfortunately, stuff like this happens, especially in a violent game like football. But we just wish them all nothing but the best.
Hey, we made it. 2023. Our first episode of the new year. Did you have fun celebrating? Did you make it to midnight?
So we actually had our party on the 30th. The 30th into the 31st.
Well, that's still last year.
I wasn't there for the planning of this, but there was some reason why we couldn't do it the 31st. Even though all my friends were still in town as we speak. But no, so we did it that night. And so, drank some stuff. I was up late.
What'd you drink?
We don't need to talk about all that. But
Was it more than one thing?
Yeah. But no, we rented out an Airbnb.
Oh.
Because last year we did it up here in my room. And I said, I'm not doing that to my mom again. So we went to an Airbnb, and so we were able to drink and roam freely. And then I was up till about 5:30. We had to clean up and leave the Airbnb by like 11. And I came home and I slept till like 4. So it was pretty good. So, and then we had a birthday party at Grandma's on New Year's Eve. And I laid in bed. About 11:30, I kind of, and then I woke up because I was watching a video. It was like a video about Georgia Tech versus Cumberland, like the 222-0 college football game.
Oh.
And then they played like some horror music in the middle of it, and it like scared the crap out of me. It woke me up, and it was like at 11:57, and so I just stayed up till midnight and I went to bed.
Yeah, I went over to my girlfriend's and we just had a quiet night in. We had a chance to go to a party or two, but she just wanted to stay in and relax because it's been kind of a busy, couple weeks, since Christmas and stuff. But we stayed busy. We actually had to stop what we were doing because we were still wrapping some Christmas gifts that she had to mail out, and we actually had to stop like at 11:45 so we make sure we didn't miss it. And then we just poured some Baileys. We had we each had a Baileys, and then counted down and got the New Year kiss and just kind of hung out and probably was in bed by 1:30. So, but it was a nice evening. We had fun and nothing too crazy.
No, yeah, we made like a jungle juice.
A jungle juice.
Yeah. So we always buy like an igloo, like one of those big like water things.
Yeah.
Just put a bunch of crap in it,
Oh,
bunch
yeah?
of juice and vodka.
And
Mix it all together.
then get a giant straw and.
No, we solo cups.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad, but then we just stupid. Some people, had to go lie down after a while because they couldn't function anymore. But it wasn't that bad.
Did you outlast him?
I mean, I don't drink a whole lot anyways. But
Me neither.
Yeah, I kind of felt it. So.
Yeah, I maybe have a few beers a year and then, mixed drinks or something like that. Not very often. I had a bad experience with Everclear back in the day, and just kind of put me off on alcohol. My ex brother-in-law was making Purple Passions, I think he called it, and I don't think he got the proportions right. and it was a lot more Everclear than it was supposed to be, and it was like, whoa.
Well, the first time we ever made it, it literally tasted like juice. And I'm like, man, I could totally get like drunk off this because it just tastes like I'm drinking fruit punch. But then the second time we did it at a convention, and we did it in like a hotel room.
Oh.
And like it was way too much vodka. I go, I can't even drink this. This is like gross. And then this time it was a little bit of vodka, but it still tasted like decent. So it worked out.
Yeah, Steve had a story like that. Did he ever tell you the story where he was out and they had like brought this giant glass of like a mixed drink or whatever, and there's a bunch of straws, and he was just sitting there sipping on it. He was like, "Oh, this hardly tastes like alcohol. It's really good." And so he just kind of just kept sipping on it, and his buddies came back and goes, "What happened? Who's been drinking all that?" Because, you know, he had lowered it quite a bit, and he was like, "Oh, just me." He goes, "Oh, man, you know what you're drinking?" Well, it was like a concoction like that. And he said, "I felt pretty good, but the next morning," he goes, "I was in the bathroom tossing my cookies," and he goes, "I didn't feel good for a couple of days."
Oh, I bet, yeah.
So he could probably relate to that. So, well, this is our first show of 2023, and we're glad you're all here listening and that you made it. And hopefully you had a wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year, and everybody's safe and ready to tackle a new year. You know, did you make any resolutions?
Not really.
No, I always think some things, but I never proclaim them. You know, people make a resolution, you want to put it out there and stuff, but you know, I don't do that because if I fail, then I can't have anybody saying, "See, I told you wouldn't do it," or whatever.
Oh, I do have one.
Oh, okay.
I want to buy gifts for everyone this year.
Oh,
like everyone.
Well, I talked about that with Barb. I said he's got a full-time job. He could probably afford to buy a few things. I mean, Taylor is so.
No, that's what I'm gonna start doing now.
But well, you're pretty responsible with your money. I mean, you don't throw a lot of money away. I mean,
well, I throw some away, but I usually pay myself back.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I'll splurge, and then like, oh, I'd set it aside. So, yeah, I just figured I'd do it finally.
Well, you're a pretty responsible kid, you know, and you know, when
kind of.
If you owe me money or something for whatever reason, I have no doubt you'll pay me back. It might take a while, but it's, you know, I know you'll get around to paying me back.
That's very relevant nowadays.
Yeah.
Got a trip.
You're a good kid. I'm proud of you.
Oh, speaking of my friends, though.
Oh, I didn't speak of your friends. But
so
go ahead.
You know where they want to go?
Hey, Nathan, what about your friends?
Shut up. You know where my friends want to go next year for New Year's?
Mardi Gras, New Orleans.
No. Well, further south.
Florida? Mexico, Tijuana.
Yeah, they want to go to Mexico.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Not with your friends.
They want to go to Cancun.
You'll be left down there. I know. I get a phone call. Dad, you need to come bail me out.
Well, according to some friends I have, Airbnbs down there are very cheap, and plane tickets are very cheap. And they said we'll live like kings because the pesos is worth less than.
Let me ask you: when you go out with your friends, who spends the most money on stuff?
Not me now, because
not you.
I have friends that have full-time jobs now.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, just make sure those cheap airfares and cheap rates that everybody pays their share.
You know what they call
ahead
me?
Of time.
You know what my friends call me now because everyone always owed me money?
Big Chuck Smith.
No,
I don't feel any heat from that.
I don't feel the heat with that. No, they call me the Kingpin.
The Kingpin.
Yeah.
Like after the movie?
What? No. Well, have you seen Spider-Man? There's one.
The new one?
No.
Well, I know who Kingpin the villain is. Yeah,
I'm the big guy. They always call me Kingpin.
Well, yeah, I'm a big. Spider-Man was my guy when I was growing up in comics.
No, yeah.
Him and Iron Man. Iron Man kind of came late, but yeah, I've always been Spider-Man.
Well, have you seen Into the Spider-Verse?
No, I have not.
Well, it's the animated one. The Kingpin's the bad guy in it, but like they over-exaggerate how big he is. Well, so like his head's like in the middle of his body, and he's like, he's got like a big hump. And every time they show him in the movies, my friends would start giggling because he's just a big fat guy.
Yeah. Well, they have the Rhino and another guy. What? The Abomination. Have you seen him?
Yeah.
In the comics,
I think.
Now, is Spider-Verse the one where it's all the animated and the different versions of Spider-Man coming together? Okay, I did see that. I wasn't real thrilled with that. I know there's a new Spider-Man movie out that I haven't seen, but or fairly recently. I don't know if it's new now per se, but I did. They're
making a second one of those.
You did go see the Blue People. You said.
Oh yeah, I did go see the Blue.
And not the Blue Man Group.
No, I did go see the Blue People.
The Avatars.
Because we were supposed to go at 6:50.
Not the Avatars. What are they? The
Avatar.
Is it Avatar?
Yeah, it's called Avatar.
When I think of Avatar, I think the little thing on your phone. Avatar.
With the Snapchat people?
No, just the little avatars, you know. So.
No, the movie's called Avatar.
Oh,
yes.
Well, okay.
But the Navi people. No, we were supposed to go see it at 6:50 because it's a 3-hour movie. But then we couldn't make that, so the next one at the ultra screen, like surround sound, was at 10:30. So, well, let's go see that. And that's when I worked at 8 in the morning. So about at 1:30, 12:30, when the plot was getting, like, I was kind of falling asleep.
That seems to be a theme. You falling asleep.
Well,
Was there scary music that woke you up?
no. I didn't fall asleep, but my eyes were falling, like drifting. But I'd wake myself up. It was during the action sequences, so you get the whole point. But it looked cool and stuff. I think it was an alright movie. It was kind of weird. A lot of whales. I don't think they were called whales, but I called them the whales. It was just kind of like, what the hell are these whales doing here? But they had a big part in the movie.
Nice.
So,
Well, the animals had a big part in the last movie.
yeah.
So, speaking of movies, and this is a really, a good
This is a good
segue. Settle a debate for me.
Oh, no.
When you go to the show, where do you sit? Do you insist on sitting in the middle of the aisles, or does it matter?
Well, I know what you're going to talk about.
I know.
So,
Well, I have this debate all the time. These people go and sit in the middle of the row because it's like the best view. Well, the screens are all curved now, so you can sit anywhere in the theater and the view is just as good. But some people swear they have to sit in the middle, which I guess is a benefit to me because I like to sit on the aisle where I can kind of stretch my legs out, into the aisle because I'm a little bit taller. So I enjoy that part of it.
well, nowadays they have those big recliners and stuff in theaters too.
Do you like those?
Yeah. They had the ones where you could lean back, so you could just lean all the way, and then they make it spacious enough so people can get by.
Yeah.
Except I'm fairly tall too, so my legs kind of kick out from the end of it.
I'm not a big fan of the Cinedyne. I mean, I like the concept, but I just don't like the waiters or waitresses walking down the aisles, during the show, and then they're trying to talk to you or show you a bill, and it's like effing dark in there. And I know they put that little lamp in there, but I mean that's just like mood lighting.
Well, I don't got to worry about that yet. I don't mind the bistro. My friends always call it the bistro.
Yeah. Well, I mean the concept's good, but it's just not for me.
Plus, it's expensive, and then like the food, it's just kind of it's on par because it's like, well, you're getting it with the movie, so that's the point of it.
Yep.
It's a good date thing, I think.
Yeah.
That's
not
about
bad.
it.
Yeah. Very
But
much.
actually, no, that's not about it. I'm fat. I like to eat food. I'd go.
Wow. PHAT. All right.
That too.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Don't be looking at my notes. He's peeking at my notes, folks. The first receiver to begin his career with 9 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving game.
Oh, I know because I saw
seasons.
the stat.
Oh, you saw? Okay.
Mike Evans.
All right.
I did see that.
And he
I
had,
didn't have to look at your notes for that one.
He had quite the day yesterday.
Yeah, don't get me started. But
I think I just did. What, 9 catches or 10 catches? Something like that. 207 yards and 3 touchdowns.
yeah,
And I don't know his stats, but he probably didn't have a lot of touchdowns going into the game against the Panthers yesterday. So,
I don't know how many he's caught this year either. But yeah, fucking bastard.
well, I know we just talked a couple weeks ago about how those two didn't seem to be on the same page. A lot of points, and when they would make reads, and he would throw it behind Evans, or Evans would cut a route off, and he'd throw it long, or vice versa. So apparently they got their lines of communication figured out, and that's important for the Bucs if they're going to go anywhere in the playoffs. I mean, they won the division 7-8, I think the record, or 8-8.
8-8 now.
with the win. But we can talk a little bit more about that coming up here. I think we're going to review our predictions that what we predicted for the season, and see how we're doing.
Yep, and
And
then I
then
have
we might preview what's actually going to happen. And what'd you have?
I had the playoff scenarios.
Okay, you want to go with that?
Who wins and like
All right, you want to start with that?
Sure, I can start with
Okay.
that. So I have the NFC ones here because I need to look up the AFC ones again. Because I thought it was all on one page, but it wasn't. It was just AFC.
Yeah, and our both of our teams are clinging to playoff hopes, and they just keep winning when they have to. So it's too bad Pittsburgh started so shitty, but they're kind of coming on now. And I'm actually kind of impressed because the offensive line's been playing way better. I mean, last time Pittsburgh played the Ravens ran all over them, and Pittsburgh returned the favor and ran all over the Ravens. And Najee Harris, if you saw the game, looked really good. Looked strong and fresh. And they've been giving Jalen Warren some snaps in the backfield. He looked good too, and I think they've they complement each other pretty well, but it helps keep them both fresh. And then Kenny Pickett's been playing well, making good reads and good throws, and he's not throwing into tight windows. He had one last night where he zipped it to Sims right over the linebacker in front of the safety. It was a great throw. I mean, even Chris Collinsworth was impressed with it. So
even I haven't watched a whole lot of Steelers games, but like when we went to Buffalo, you could just kind of see that you could see the talent there.
Yeah, the line wasn't giving him any help, and then Buffalo just exploded so quickly on him that it was just like, well,
not very much you could do.
Try to play catch up, and then basically they just went to the shell and just kind of try to run clock and be real conservative. But they're still not throwing the ball all over the yard. But I mean, they've opened up the offense a little bit, and Firemove's playing well, and the receivers are playing well. And I mean, Deontay Johnson still doesn't have a touchdown this year, but
they got a lot of young guys.
Yeah,
and that's bright for the future.
So I mean, they got to win this week, and then they got to have a little bit of help, but. We'll see.
We'll do the AFC first because this one's on my phone, so I can put.
In Green Bay, kicked some butt this weekend. And Aaron Rodgers was playing the air guitar and rocking out.
Yeah, the Hell's Bells.
Yeah.
I'll have to gloat about the Vikings.
Well, about the Vikings?
About the Packers kicking the Vikings' ass.
Okay.
That's always great. So number 1 seed is still in the air in the AFC. All Buffalo has to do is win its last 2 games. They play the Bengals tonight, which will be a great game.
Yeah, because they both have something to play for. So a lot of times this time of year, some of the teams just don't, kind of mail it in, or they don't really have anything to play for. So you get less than stellar performances sometimes.
Yeah. And then they have to beat the Patriots next week.
Yes, which might be a tougher game for them, especially if they win tonight. That might be a tougher game than what you might expect.
Yes, but fortunately for them, that's in Buffalo. The one is in Cincinnati tonight, so that'll be kind of tough. Chiefs can still get it too. They have to beat the Raiders next week, which I think they will with Jared Stidham, even though they gave the 49ers a run for their money yesterday. San
Francisco made Stidham look like an all-pro.
Yes. And yeah, they did. Maybe he's the answer. It's not Derek Carr. It's Jared Stidham.
Well, it sounds like they're not sure if Derek Carr's even going to be back with the Raiders next year.
They said it seems kind of likely he won't be.
Because he left the team.
And then he'll be
once they decide to bench him, and apparently he's due some kind of financial bonus if he plays so many snaps or whatever.
That's why they think they're going to trade him,
and the Raiders don't want to pay it. So
yeah,
that's a bad look.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say about that.
And then if they get rid of Carr, what the hell is Devontae Adams probably won't want to be there anymore. He probably doesn't want to be there already if they're struggling. And then if they trade his best friend away, that's not a good look.
No, it'd be interesting to see what transpires there.
Should stay with Green Bay.
C'est la vie.
All right, well, yeah, Chiefs need to beat the Raiders, and then they need the Bills to lose one of their last 2 games. If they lose one of them, Chiefs get the number 1 seed.
Well, Buffalo beat the Chiefs head-to-head, so if they end up with the same record, Buffalo will have the tiebreaker.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then the Bengals can still get the number 1 seed. They got to beat Buffalo, and they need the Ravens and the Chiefs to lose. Oh, wait, no, they need to win versus... Okay, I read that wrong. I was going to say, why the hell do the Ravens matter? They need the Bills. They need to beat the Bills and the Ravens, is what it says. And then they need the Chiefs to lose to the Raiders. That is... I was going to say, what the hell's Baltimore got to do with the number 1 seed?
Yeah, right. The AFC is mostly about seeding. I think the 7th seed is the only spot that's really open. Everybody else who's in there that you're mentioning is all clinched their playoff spots already.
That and the 4th seed. Because for the AFC South, the Jaguars just need to win or tie versus the Titans. But the Titans need to win against the Jaguars.
And it'd be interesting to see if Derrick Henry plays.
Yes. And then Malik Willis, will you lead them to the playoff? They've lost like 6 in a row.
They benched him, didn't they? Start? Who'd they start? Oh, I should look this up. Yeah, they didn't play Malik Willis.
Oh, let me look it up right now.
Yeah.
Joshua Dobbs.
Yeah, the former Steeler. And he said it, I believe he said in his interview, it was the first time that he actually got a chance to prove himself as an NFL quarterback.
That's funny because I didn't watch that game on Thursday. You could tell. All right, yeah, so they just got to win. It's winning in pretty much. Actually, that's not true because the Jaguars technically have a chance to still get a wild card too if they lose. The AFC North, the Bengals just need to win one of their last 2 games and they win the AFC North. So they're guaranteed. And I think that'll screw Baltimore out of the playoffs. I know Baltimore's already in. Baltimore is already in. I think they're going to be 6. Because it doesn't say that here, so that's great. Okay, and then the 7th seed, this is the weird one.
Okay.
The Patriots just need to win. They need to beat the Bills, and they get in. But they can still get in if the Dolphins lose versus the Jets and the Steelers lose against the Browns.
Well, the Dolphins scenario will be interesting because Tua is out with a concussion, and then Teddy Bridgewater got hurt. So they ended up playing their third-string quarterback. And
That Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, he played decent. But, in a must-win scenario, is that a guy you really want to start out there? So it'll be interesting to see. We'll have to watch the health of these guys and see if one of them's, like Tua gets out of concussion protocol. And I'm not sure what actually happened to Teddy. I didn't get to see the game, but I did hear he got injured. So.
Okay. So then the Dolphins, they only get in if they beat the Jets and the Patriots lose. So they can't really control their own destiny there. But fortunately, they're playing the Bills, the Patriots, so that likely.
Well, they have to win their game and then worry about the rest. I mean, these kind of scenarios, you have to win and have help. You just need to concentrate on winning, control what you can control, and then if it's meant to be, the rest of that stuff will fall in place.
And Dolphins and Jets may be a slobber knocker with the quarterback situations going on. And then the Steelers can make the 7th seed. They need help as well. They need to beat the Browns, but then they need the Dolphins to lose to the Jets and the Patriots to lose to the Bills.
Which are both pretty plausible. I think I love my team, but I think the scenario of them actually beating the Browns is less likely than the other two to happen because the Browns look really tough against the Commanders.
And then the Jaguars can clinch the 7th seed too if they lose to the Titans, but then they need the Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Steelers to lose. So technically, it's not over for Jacksonville.
No, I could see that scenario happening.
But yeah, Titans doesn't matter. The Titans need to win, otherwise they're screwed. Good. So that was the AFC. Any thoughts?
I just gave most of mine. I know the number 1 seed gets a bye, and sometimes I don't think that's worth as much as people think. Yeah, you want to get people healthy and give some guys time off, but sometimes your timing's off, and you see these number 1 seeds that come out and play these other teams, and they look a little rusty or a little bit off their game. So, I'm sure to them getting the bye is super important. So,
because I don't think they'd want to say that week off would screw them.
Yeah,
but
so that's why tonight's game, like you said, is going to be a good battle because both these teams are playing to get the number 1 seed.
All right. And then we're going to go to the NFC. But before that, I want to shout out the New York Giants for clinching the 6th seed.
Yeah.
For their win. For their slobber knocking of the Colts.
That was very unexpected. They play well. I know in our fantasy preview, we talked up Saquon Barkley, coming back from surgery, and we felt pretty good about him. But, Danny Jones, Daniel Dimes, he was always the wild card in this whole scenario. But he's had his moments where he's played kind of scattered, but he's been pretty consistent, and he's been a pretty decent quarterback. I mean, he's not top tier, but he does what he needs to do. He hasn't been turning the ball over, and the line's been pretty good, and Saquon's been able to take advantage of holes and stuff, and their defense has played pretty well.
Yeah, I think Daniel Jones earned himself another little stint with the Giants because that was kind of up in the air at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, we'll see. It just depends. The market always changes depending on every time a quarterback signs, the market goes up. So.
And then
just how much, is he top level money talent? No. So it just depend on who his agent is and what he's willing to sign for.
You have to think Brian Dable will be in Coach of the Year conversation too, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, Sirianni probably.
Maybe the Jacksonville coach.
Peterson. And then
I would say what's his face with the Lions.
Campbell
should have some consideration.
I love Dan Campbell.
They kicked the bejesus out of Chicago. So,
yeah. Hey, I'm also okay. Darnell Mooney didn't end up being a good pick, but Justin Fields ended up being fairly decent. So I'll take half credit.
We talked about that a little bit. They started to tailor the offense to his skills instead of trying to work him into what they wanted to do, and that makes a big difference. Usually you kind of worry about having your quarterback out there running around, but it's they've always said that, this was going to be the NFL. It was going to be more like the college game. And it's kind of been resistant because those mobile quarterbacks just never seem to succeed really well in the NFL. Well, the last couple of years, you've had people that have kind of broken the norm, like Lamar Jackson. Of course, he's been injured quite a bit. But those guys that can kind of move around and run a little bit are, starting to sprinkle in there. But, if your talent pool is those type of athletes and those type of quarterbacks, I mean, you're going to have to, eventually you're going to have to draft them and work with them. I mean, because that's just the way the college game is going. You don't have a lot of sit back and, 5-step drop, 7-step drop quarterbacks in the college game anymore. It's just not the way it goes. I mean, Alabama still kind of runs that offense, but, they're kind of struggled this year, and Clemson a little bit. So the game's changed a little bit.
All right, NFC scenarios.
All right.
There are 3 teams that could get the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Okay. Eagles.
First one's the Eagles,
who are really on the struggle bus right now.
Yep. It doesn't help Jalen Hurts is out.
No.
Gardner Minshew.
Bless you.
That's what
Oh, I thought you sneezed.
No, that's what Chris Berman does on
Minshew.
Yeah, that's what he does. Yeah. The Eagles, they just need to beat the Giants, and they're in. Last week, they're the number 1 seed. Otherwise, they can still get it if the 49ers lose to the Cardinals and the Cowboys lose to the Commanders. Don't know how likely either of those are.
Don't know the status of Kyler Murray's health. Detroit cast off David Blau, started for the Cardinals this weekend. He played okay, but...
He's with the Cardinals now?
Yes.
Because I watched Hard Knocks, and he signed with the Vikings on the practice squad.
Well, apparently...
At the end of it.
Apparently the Cardinals picked him up.
Unless I don't remember watching that correctly. And then the 49ers can clinch it. They have to beat the Cardinals, and the Eagles have to lose to the Giants.
Did you drink jungle juice before you watched that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
They have to beat the Cardinals, and the Eagles have to lose. And then the Cowboys can still get it if they beat the Commanders and the Eagles lose and the 49ers lose.
Okay.
The NFC East is still up for grabs, obviously. Eagles win, they get it. Otherwise, they need the Cowboys to lose. And then the Cowboys need to win. They need the Eagles to lose.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, all right. So, and then I think the Vikings can't get the 1 seed, but they can pretty much go to the 1, 2, or 3, I think. Because 4 is obviously Tampa Bay. And then 6 is the Giants. And then 1 and 5 is going to be either the Eagles or the Cowboys. It's going to be one of them. We just don't know which one. Whoever wins the division. Okay. Or whoever loses the division. And then 7th seed is... There's 3 teams.
Oh.
Somehow freaking Green Bay is still there.
The Three Stooges.
4-game win streak. All they have to do is beat the Lions.
Oh, my.
They just have to beat the Lions. The Lions need help, though. They need to beat the Packers, and they need the Seahawks to lose versus the Rams.
No, I don't see that happening.
Who I just saw a stat have the most losses for a Super Bowl defender in NFL history. They have 11 losses.
Well, they've had a lot of injuries and stuff, though, too.
And plus, that defense just wasn't playing that.
Yeah.
There's a snub, and then Matt Stafford going out. We'll get to my playoff predictions.
And Cooper Kupp, probably the best receiver in the league.
Yep. And then
arguably.
And then the Seahawks get in if they beat the Rams and the Packers lose to the Lions. So it's either going to be the Packers, the Lions, and the Seahawks get in instead of the last seed.
Now, in your honest opinion, Packers versus Lions, is that in Green Bay or in Detroit?
It's in Green Bay.
So what do you think?
I think it's not going to be as easy as people kind of making out to be already, but I still think the Packers can do it. It's just they're going to have to – the offense is going to have to be working because the Lions can go down and score.
Yeah, I see a tight game. If I evaluate it myself personally, I just see maybe Jared Goff making one bad decision, throwing a pick or something untimely. Pick or something like that.
Well, for as much as I crapped on Joe Barry throughout the year for Green Bay, too, his team's been playing hard on defense the last 2 games. Second half versus Miami after they kind of struggled in the first, and then they shut down the Vikings, even though there was a lot of turnovers and stuff. But they made lots of plays. So
well, some teams play better under the gun. When they start feeling the pressure, they step their game up, and maybe the Packer team this year is like that. I mean, a lot of new players, on the offense and receiving core and stuff. So sometimes it takes a half a year or something to get acclimated. They always talk about the speed of the NFL. A lot of these guys are the fastest guys on their teams in college, and normally they might see 1 or 2 guys a year that can match them. And, in the NFL, it's every week. Every week, and some guys might be faster than you or bigger than you. So, yeah, it's they're playing well. Aaron's playing much better. He's
Aaron Jones he got 11 carries for like 100 yards.
Aaron Rodgers, I meant, but
No,
Aaron
I know.
Jones. And
I was adding on, sorry.
oh, thank you. And I'm a big Robert Tonyan fan. I always think he's kind of an underrated tight end. So
Got it one yesterday.
yeah. So that'll be a close game. I think it'll be very interesting. And are you going to get together, Steve, to watch it?
Depends because we got the thing on
Lisa.
Sunday. Yeah.
Oh.
But if it's a night game, maybe I'll message Steve.
Yeah, they're
They
going
may
to
flex it.
Yeah, we're supposed to find out tonight who the flex game is. So
I'm thinking that's kind of likely because the only other like playoff one would be the Jaguars and the Titans, but I believe that's Saturday, so they can't flex that.
yeah, it's once college football kind of wraps up, it's fun. They kind of move some of the NFL games to Saturday, and that's always good, especially like if you work and you got something to listen to.
Yeah, so there you go. So you think Packers are gonna get the 7th seed? Probably.
Well, I expect them to beat the Lions in a hard fought game, but
So I guess that means they're getting it
yeah.
because if they win, they're in.
Well, with this all going on, do you want to revisit what we predicted to start the season and see how we're looking?
Yeah, we'll look at it. I was looking at it a little bit before.
Okay.
So
Let's start with our teams we think we're going to make the playoffs,
okay.
and then we can.
Worry
I mean,
about
if you want to run down the Super
I have
Bowl
the
and the
divi-
division winners,
I have the division winners.
because
yeah.
next time we record, that'll still be progressing. So
I was going to say something else, but I don't remember what I was going to say.
okay,
Something about the Packers you were talking about.
that's not a surprise.
But I don't remember what it is. Okay. AFC East. Do you have any idea what we both said?
I'm guessing we both probably picked Buffalo.
Yes,
I mean,
we
that was a pretty obvious pick, depending on the other teams in the league. So
Yeah. I'll ask you who you picked and see if you remember it. AFC North.
I think I picked Cincinnati.
You did pick Cincinnati. I picked Baltimore.
Oh,
But I didn't think Lamar Jackson would be out for the last 4 weeks or whatever.
why
it was.
not? He's injured every year.
Well, I said this was as if everyone was healthy.
Yeah.
As you'll see by my number 1 seed.
Yeah. All right.
AFC South. That wonderful division.
I want to say I picked the Titans, but I think I picked the Colts.
We both picked the Colts.
Yeah, that's not looking too good.
Hey, Jonathan Taylor's supposed to be number 1 fantasy guy. The offensive line's good. Matt Ryan just has to make the plays.
That didn't.
Jonathan Taylor did nothing.
That didn't come to fruition at all. That was one of the teams I just didn't see. I mean, I didn't expect them to light the world on fire, but I figured 10-6, or something like that, 9-7 would be enough to win that division.
Yes, I didn't think they weren't contenders, but I didn't think the Titans in that division was
Especially
strong.
because they finished last year pretty strong.
Uh-huh.
I honestly didn't think Carson Wentz played that bad for him, but they ejected him and brought in Matt Ryan. But
Plus he had those bad plays, the one where he threw the interception in his own end zone. So I think that kind of just doesn't give the best look.
yeah,
But
not that I don't think Matt Ryan was that much of an upgrade over Carson Wentz anyway. But
I thought if he played within the system, he'd be all right.
yeah. Well, we talked about that on the fantasy show.
But who knows? Carson Wentz in Washington's been really bad.
Yeah, well, that whole team's been scattered, and then all the stuff that's going on in the front office, outside the bounds of the field. I mean, that's got to be hard to concentrate on that. Just the game and all that shit's going on around you.
So yeah, Colts won the best pick. AFC West.
Probably Chiefs.
You had the Chargers,
Oh,
and I picked the Chiefs.
okay. Well, the Chargers made the playoffs.
That division that could have
And,
4 playoff teams.
There was that game when they played I think it was in Kansas City, where the Chargers were going in for a touchdown, and there was a fumble or an interception. The guy ran it back like 100 yards or something.
This year?
Yeah, and it changed like the whole game.
I think it was a fumble. Oh, no, it was a pick. Justin Herbert threw a pick, I think.
I think that was the weekend we were in Buffalo, maybe, so we didn't get to see it. Was that?
I thought that was like week 2 or week 3.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Because they always have a Sunday night game at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
NFC East.
Did I pick Dallas?
Yeah, we both picked Dallas.
Okay.
I think we were Eagles believers, but we weren't believers
Fly,
yet.
Eagles, fly.
They do have one of the best fight songs. I will admit that. Sometimes it is catchy. NFC North. I know you remember this
The
one.
Vikings.
Yeah,
We went back and forth because I know you took the Packers.
of course. If Matt LaFleur had run the damn ball, they could have won the division. NFC South. Another wonderful division. Both Souths suck.
Probably Tampa Bay.
Yep, both
by default.
Tampa Bay.
Of course, we never expected them to be this shitty, but
yeah, who knows?
Of course, who knew the rest of the division was going to be shittier?
That's true. NFC West, last one.
Instead of calling that the black and blue division like they call them up there in Green Bay territory, they should call it black and brown.
Yeah, both the South are the best divisions.
Yeah.
The NFC West.
I don't even remember who the fuck's in that conference. Let me take a gander. I think I picked the 49ers.
You did pick the 49ers.
Nice.
I had the Rams.
And that was before they had Christian McCaffrey.
I had the Rams. I really liked the 49ers, but I think I went with the Rams just because they were defending champs. I feel like I do that a lot. You got to give the champ their credit.
Yeah, well, and San Francisco's gone through a lot of changes with quarterback because you want to start with Trey Lance and then,
Jimmy G, who was supposed to just be in a honeymoon.
And now they have their last 7th round pick of the draft starting quarterback, and he's looking pretty good.
I know.
So I wonder what Trey Lance is thinking. I better hurry up and get better and get back. It'll be interesting to see what they do next year.
Jimmy G said, "Crap, I won my job back, and I want to lose it again."
Well, he just signed a 1-year tender, so he's definitely gone next year.
Well, who knows? There was a possibility. Hey, if Trey Lance is bad, we'd take you back.
Well, I don't think that's very likely.
Okay, so we can go through seeding.
Okay.
You want to do NFC or AFC first?
You can. I'm not going to remember any of this. So
I know. I'm just going to read it.
You can, whatever you want to do.
All right, we'll start with the AFC. We both had the Bills as our number 1 seed, which is very possible if they win the last 2 games.
Yep.
I had the Chiefs as my number 2, which is also very possible.
Yeah.
You had the Chargers number 2.
Well, that's not possible.
It's not possible.
But they're in. But they're in the playoffs.
It wasn't possible for you to put the Chiefs there because you had them losing the division. I had the Ravens 3rd, and you had the Bengals 3rd.
And the Ravens are in at number 6, I think.
Yeah, I think they're stuck at 6.
And the Bengals, like you said, would be the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd? Or is it just 3rd or 1st for the Bengals? Can they be 2nd seed?
Well, they could technically still lose the division. So technically the Ravens could go up.
Okay.
Because the Chargers are clinched. That's the other one.
Chargers
So I think the Chargers are 5th or 6th.
Well, like I said, 6 of the 7 teams have clinched. It's just what order they're going to be in there at. And it's the 7th seed, I think, is the only one that's still up for grabs.
We only know the Jaguars and the Titans are going to be 4th. And I think anyone else can kind of bounce around there. Okay. Except Baltimore can't get up to the 1 seed.
That's too bad.
So. Oh, and then we both had the Colts 4th. Because like we said, they had to go in there because they won the division.
Yes.
So that's about it. And there are wild cards.
Can we say the Colts threw a shoe?
Sure. Okay, do you want to guess your 3 wild cards then? Because you had the
probably the Ravens.
Okay.
The Chiefs, I guess, if I pick the Chargers.
Yep. And then one more team.
And
this isn't in order either. It is in this open order.
Did I say the Titans?
You cannot say the Titans.
Did I say the Raiders?
No, you did not say the Raiders.
No, then I don't remember.
It's the Patriots.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You had the Chiefs 5th, Patriots 6th, and the Ravens 7th. Little Steeler love in there, 7th.
Well, I'm realistic about my team more.
It's okay.
More so than you.
You didn't think Green Bay had a chance to win the division this year?
No. I picked the Vikings soundly.
Soundly?
Yeah, you asked me. I came up with the Vikings just like that.
Yeah, there's no reason for you to say that.
Oh, sorry.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the Packers had a chance. Slim and none, and Slim just left the building.
Oh, yeah? Okay. And then I had the Chargers 5th.
Okay.
I had the Bengals 6th. So if you swap out the Bengals and the Ravens, that's not too bad. And then I don't want to say who my 7th seed was. Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos 7th.
I know we have I think she's a dedicated listener, Lisa, out there. And sorry, we've kind of been crapping on your team all year, but
do you just want to talk about
deserved?
Do you want to talk about Nathaniel Hackett getting fired now since we're here?
Yeah, I know he had record wise 4-11, and the team struggled. But is he responsible for Russell Wilson being as bad as he is? Did he tell Russell Wilson to go out throw the ball into the ground? Did he tell Russell Wilson to go out and turn the ball over? Did he tell Russell Wilson to run backwards and get sacked? And I mean, he can only work with what he has, and I don't think a year is enough time to really implement your system and do what you want, especially when Russell Wilson was kind of throwing in there on you. Maybe I don't know if he's a Russell Wilson fan or if he wanted Russell Wilson to run the system he wants to run. So he's had to make adjustments on the fly, and the team playing bad. I know he has to take ownership of that, but is it all on him so much where you're going to fire him after one season? You thought enough of him to make him your coach and give him a nice contract with some good money. So that's partly on you. But I know it's what have you done for me lately anymore, but a year really is not enough time to prove anything in this league. And I think he'll get another chance. He'll definitely probably be an offensive coordinator somewhere next year. I know you're hoping in Green Bay. But I just don't think a year is enough time to really prove yourself. Like I said, he's dealing with the players he has. He doesn't, hasn't been able to, do free agency really, and he's only been through one draft. And it's just, I don't know. I know, people have the money to make the decisions, but I think he deserved at least another year.
Well, I'd say don't even. I mean, it's not his fault. It's the front office's fault. If it turns out that Russell Wilson is bad, I guess we'll find out next year if Nathaniel Hackett's the reason why Russell Wilson played so bad.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter Russell said he might have to rethink how he approaches the offseason and what he does to get ready. So
who knows? But I think when they trade for Russell Wilson, give up all that crap for him, and then they sign him to that big 5-year deal, they're going to get rid of the coach first, obviously, because they can't just get rid of Russell Wilson. So, I mean, if Hackett came back and it was the same stuff next year, I think it would be kind of just another wasted year. So I think they're just trying to get ahead of it. But I think Nathaniel Hackett, I don't think this says anything bad necessarily about Nathaniel Hackett. I think he's still a great football mind, and he'll be a good coach somewhere. But it just didn't work out in Denver.
Well, there are some guys who are just good offensive coordinators, and they get a shot at coach, and it just doesn't work. But that's all right. I mean, some guys are just not meant to be coaches in the league. I mean, they get a shot, and it just doesn't work out. He could be one. He's failed in Denver, speaking of the Broncos.
Maybe it's just a Denver thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
NFC. You know who your number one seed is? I know I told you I was going to ask you, but
I probably stupidly said Tampa Bay.
Yes, you did. Stupidly, you did say Tampa Bay.
Yes.
Okay, so you had the Bucks as your one seed. I had the Rams as my one seed.
Well, I don't feel so stupid now. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, you had the Rams in the playoffs.
Well,
so yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of injuries, but even when they were healthy, that defense didn't look as dominant as it was last year.
Yeah, they talk about Super Bowl hangover, and it's real. I mean, it really, you do so much stuff in the off season, celebrating and making appearances and stuff, and once you hit the mountaintop, it's hard to stay there. Yeah. So you see these teams that repeat, and I mean, you kind of appreciate what they did, what it took for them to repeat. But, like you said, losing Stafford, and then, of course, losing Cooper Kupp for the year didn't help. And then
I think losing Odell and Robert Woods was bigger than anyone thought.
Well, Odell still hasn't signed with anybody. I don't think he's going to. And then Aaron Donald was injured some, too. So one of the top defensive players in the league.
It's hard to get an offense going when you don't have much of a run game. That's true. Then Cooper Kupp's the only guy that was kind of a threat. Yeah. Because Allen Robinson didn't end up being the answer, we all kind of thought.
We thought the change of scenery going from Chicago to L.A. would be a big difference. I mean, even ESPN and people like that, he was their big sleeper, the bounce-back kind of guy, and it just didn't happen.
He slept on my bench all right. All right, and then 2 seed, I had Tampa Bay, so not much better. And then you had the Vikings as your 2 seed.
Okay.
Which looks kind of realistic.
Very.
Even though they're just frauds, but that's okay. I had the Packers 3rd, and you had the 49ers.
Packers 3rd. That's a good one.
I don't know what you're talking about. A lot of people pick the Packers.
I'm just taking jabs at you.
I know you are. And then we both had Dallas 4th.
Okay.
Because I think we both thought Dallas was going to win, but not. We never think Dallas is Super Bowl contenders.
Well,
they're always fakers every year.
Yeah, Dallas always.
Well, we just like to hate on Dallas.
They always throw a tire or have the transmission go out on them. So
in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. The NFC's so open. Anyone could win it.
I actually think Dallas right now is probably the most dangerous team going in, but they always throw in a very underwhelming performance that's, unexpected, and I kind of think that's going to happen again. I mean,
Well, there's always just a game where you're like, they don't look that good.
yeah,
But then you look, I mean, the Eagles, I guess, are the only one that's looked good the whole year. But then again, like even if you lose Jalen Hurts for like the last 3 games and then he just kind of gets thrown back in there, you never know what that's going to do. So, I mean, Tampa Bay, I mean, screw it. I guess Tampa Bay could make a little run if they, just because they're in, it's Tom Brady's there. And then, who the heck's the other division? The Niners. I mean, that's kind of scary.
Niners.
The defense is good. It's just, even though they didn't look too good yesterday. But Brock Purdy's the only kind of question mark. So it's wide open.
Well, they've kind of worked him in slowly. They're not relying on him to carry the offense, and they've got a pretty decent running game right now. So the other teams can't just load up and try to stop Purdy. So yeah, they're a pretty effective pass and run game right now. But the playoffs is a different kind of pressure, and we'll see if he holds up to that.
So Green Bay doesn't have to play him. I'm tired of facing those bastards in the playoffs. They beat us every time.
Yeah.
Block punts or...
Yeah, we've watched a few of those games.
Raheem Mostert, Jesus. Okay, and then can you guess your 3 wild cards for the NFC? These ones should not be nearly as difficult.
The Packers, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Probably the Rams.
Yep.
And who did I predict to win the NFC East?
Dallas.
So did I have the Eagles?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So you had the Rams 5th, Packers 6th, and the Eagles 7th.
Kind of undersold the Eagles there?
I think we all did. I think we all thought they were going to be good, but I don't know if any of us thought they were going to be 13-1 at the time good.
Yeah, I wasn't very high on Jalen Hurts.
Are you a believer? No?
Yeah, well, they run a system that's beneficial to him, like they're trying to do in Chicago. So, yeah, they've really tailored the offense to him, and, they're adding weapons, to that offense. And, if they can get a few more linemen, some of their linemen are getting older. But, yeah, they should be good offensively for next few years to come. I actually tried to trade for Miles Sanders in my fantasy league because I thought he might be a pretty good one to have, and he's done pretty well, but that other owner never checks his emails apparently. So, and I found out apparently a lot of people don't know how messaging works on the website. So if you send them an offer through messaging, they say, "Oh, I didn't even see that." You're like, ugh. So
he's been a little underwhelming for me in the playoffs, but
yeah,
Miles Sanders he's kind of a godsend, especially because I didn't draft a running back to like the 6th round.
Yeah, that's we tend to drift towards the receivers because it's more of a throwing game. So that only thing is that means it puts the onus on you to find some second-tier running backs that will kind of produce.
Well, because my first one was Breece Hall.
Yes, and he looked good till he got injured.
Yeah, and then Sanders.
That's typical Jets, though. They show flashes of potential for several weeks, and everybody starts talking about it. And
Well, in fairness to the Jets, though, I think they have a bright future. They just need a quarterback. And they can get some free agency there because Robert Saleh's got that defense working, which we kind of expected because he was a defensive coordinator. Yeah. Okay, and then my copyright music in the middle.
Sorry.
My wild cards, I had the 49ers 5th.
Okay.
The Eagles 6th. And can you guess who my last team was? I think I've talked about this before, so you may know. Because it wasn't the Vikings. I didn't have the Vikings in the playoffs.
Did you pick the Seahawks?
No.
Oh. I don't know then.
It was the Cardinals.
Oh. Well, they had offensive potential.
That's what I thought. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins was gone for 5 games, but I thought Kyler Murray and them, they'd still be.
Disappointment. Big disappointment.
Because there's always a 500 or like team that sneaks in there, and I thought maybe that'd be Arizona.
Yeah. Kyler Murray is Russell Wilson 2.0.
But I think he still has
diminished stat. Yeah, he just, I don't know what went wrong with that team, but yeah, he didn't play well. And
Kingsbury may not be back, but actually he signed an extension, but that doesn't mean they won't fire him still. So yeah, I guess the Vikings not being in there was my biggest blunder, but it's okay. We kicked their ass last night. So I would love to play the Vikings in the playoffs. That'd be fun.
I'm sure you would.
I mean, not to say that we're going to roll them again because it'll be close, but division.
It'll be in Minnesota if they do. So
well, I don't trust me. I don't have much hope for Green Bay in the playoffs to do anything. But maybe sneaking in the last seed again.
Well,
It's the
sometimes
best thing for them.
sometimes you get that team that sneaks in because they get hot, and then because they're hot,
That's the last time
they
they
roll
won.
a little bit. Yeah,
They were the 16 last time. So.
yeah.
And every time they're a top seed, they seem to blow it. So I told myself I'm not giving myself any more. Like, oh, this is our year, because every time I do, I just get pissed off. Oh, and then finally our Super Bowl prediction. We can't forget this.
Oh,
Did you guess who the two teams you had in the Super Bowl? And can you guess who you predicted to win the Super Bowl?
I'm guessing I said Buffalo.
Over. Because you did pick the Bills to win.
Did I say Tampa Bay?
No, you didn't say
Okay.
Tampa Bay.
Oh my gosh.
You did have them as the 1 seed, though.
San Francisco?
Yep. Yeah, the Bills over the 49ers.
It's still looking pretty good. I got a shot at that.
Well, and then what you hope you didn't have is what I have. I have the Bills over the Bucks.
Ooh. They're both in, so.
Possible. My NFC's all messed up. Rams, Bucks, Packers, Dallas, Niners, Eagles, Cardinals. What a mess. I don't know why. I can't remember why I didn't pick the Vikings. Maybe it's because it was a new coach. I thought maybe it'd take a little bit. And plus, I hate the Vikings, so maybe that's why, too.
Well, I think if I remember, you were kind of undersold on their offense. Because I remember you said something during the year. I didn't realize their offense was so good.
Well, I think I wasn't.
Well, the offense has kind of carried them. I mean, the defense has had spurts where they played well, but
The secondary, they always kind of have a lackluster secondary.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think their pass rush was as good as I thought it was going to be. Which is kind of weird because they have a lot of good players on their team. Zadarius Smith.
Skull! Skull! God, that was the worst chant. That's so annoying at that game.
No, I know. And they
Not to mention Pittsburgh didn't score by halftime.
And they blow that stupid horn.
Oh,
No, I know, it's annoying. I hate watching it on TV.
it reminds me of the Ricola commercial when the guy's got that big long thing. And Ricola. That's every
what
time.
Yeah, just blowing. Yeah.
Yep.
No, then Zadarius Smith. The pass rush is really good. I didn't expect their defense to be as good. But I think I was kind of surprised about how good they're off. Like you said, I think I kind of forgot that they had Dalvin Cook's. He could be a top 5 running back. Justin Jefferson's a top 5 receiver. Adam Thielen's good when he's healthy, and then Kirk Cousins is he's a decent game manager. So I mean, Kirk Cousins is not elite, but I think he's like outside the great quarterbacks. He's like a good quarterback.
Well, if I remember correctly, I think Stephen A. Smith picked him to be the NFL MVP this year.
Someone did. I don't think it was him.
You don't think it was him?
Wasn't it like Michael Irvin or something? I think so.
Maybe.
I remember that someone did pick Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, maybe. Transitioning to the college game, looks like we have TCU and Georgia in the national championship game. I say TCU probably unexpectedly beat Michigan, which I didn't think was going to happen. And then
Especially after losing.
Georgia survived Ohio State after a missed last-minute field goal. And I thought Ohio State was probably better than the 4th seed, but, of course, the committee wanted to avoid the rematch of Michigan-Ohio State. But maybe looking at it now, maybe Michigan would have rather played Ohio State. I didn't get a chance to see much of either one of these games, but just a general overview, I was surprised TCU played so well against Michigan, especially because Michigan has a pretty decent defense and a fairly explosive offense. And Michigan got behind the 8 ball right away. They were down like 21-3, and then end up losing 51-45, which sounds good, even though Michigan, I think, scored like a late touchdown to make it respectable. So I was shocked that TCU kind of seemed like they had them covered most of the day.
Oh, I did see a funny tweet about the game now.
And especially after what Michigan, how they did last year in the playoffs. So it can't be like they weren't ready. Maybe they overlooked TCU and didn't respect them. Possibly is maybe a thought. I mean, they won't say that, of course, but yeah, I don't know. And Georgia's been the best team all year, but Ohio State had a lot of talent, and I thought basically Ohio State got a second chance, and you knew they weren't going to throw it away, like they did against Michigan, just underperformed, and you knew they wouldn't do that a second time. And I expected it to be a close game. I didn't expect to be that close, but Georgia did what they had to, and I think this will be a good stepping stone for Georgia. And I predict Georgia will probably win by maybe a couple touchdowns. And that's no disrespect to TCU, but sometimes when you get pushed to the brink like that and you survive, that just, makes a team knuckle down more. And We get some flashing lights in here on the computer screens.
Yeah, I was just checking to see what our time was.
Yeah. So I expect the Bulldogs to win this one.
Well, I think Michigan kind of shot themselves in the foot, too. I didn't watch the game, but I did see they were up. I think they were down 10-3, and they fumbled on the goal line.
TCU's first score was a pick six.
So, I mean, they kind of – that's never really the best. And then I guess you got to give them somewhat credit for coming back in the fourth, making it respectable.
Yeah.
I mean, the second half making it respectable.
Yeah.
But apparently, like I said, I didn't watch. Apparently, Jim Harbaugh didn't coach the best game. They said, at what point does Nathaniel Hackett take off his Jim Harbaugh mask was the tweet I saw. I thought it was pretty funny. So, and then I did watch Georgia's final drive against Ohio State to go down, and then what's his face for Ohio State made a nice play, scramble down there, get themselves some field goals.
CJ Stroud?
Yes, I was thinking Bryce Young, but I know that wasn't right.
Yeah,
who just declared for the draft, by the way.
Oh,
I did see that before he started. So may as well throw it out there.
He's
now.
predicted to go in the top 5 by Mel Kiper. I mean, of course, right now they're predicting like 3 or 4 quarterbacks going in the top 5, which I don't expect to happen. But hey, that's great for the Steelers. Push those guys down.
It's okay. The Texans need one of them.
Well,
because no offense to Davis Mills, but he's not the guy.
No.
And then I don't know who else would need a quarterback in the top. I don't even know who the top 5 is.
Yeah.
The Broncos aren't going to take one. The Bears aren't going to take one.
No.
So the Jets may want one, but they're going to be kind of higher up on the list.
I think it's either going to be the Texans, or if the Texans would end up winning and the Bears would lose, I think the Bears will have the number 1 seed. Or number 1 pick, sorry.
I hope they don't have the number 1
Sorry, Robert. Didn't mean to get your hopes up there.
Oh, it's Texans. Ooh, Seahawks are going to have the 3rd pick thanks to the Broncos.
Uh-huh.
So they may take one. Because Geno Smith's not the long-term answer. Geno Smith could be a great transitional guy for a young guy maybe if they want. But if they take like a C.J. Stroud, I don't think they're just going to let him ride the pine for a year. I think they'd throw him into the fire.
Old reference alert. Geno Smith is long in the tooth.
Oh, yeah.
For a quarterback.
Cardinals won't take one. Colts?
Yes.
They will.
Definitely.
And then the Lions, maybe. But I think they said something. They like Jared Goff.
Well, they like him. It depends on who's there, because everybody's going to have these quarterbacks close, and some people are going to have, let's say like there's 4 quarterbacks, somebody's going to have one guy ranked number 1, and some other teams are going to have that same guy ranked 4th. So it just depends on who's there and who they like and if it fits into their system.
And then other potential, Falcons would definitely be interested.
Well, they just started Ritter.
Yeah.
Who they drafted last year in the 2nd round. So if they like Ritter, I mean, I guess it depends. He's got one more game to show something. He got his first win this weekend. So. And
then Raiders, if they're getting rid of Derek Carr, yes. Panthers were, because I don't, Sam Darnold.
Well, they have a plethora of quarterbacks, but
Sam Darnold's not it. Baker Mayfield they shipped out, and then they still have P.J. Walker is the other one, the XFL guy.
He sounds like an alcoholic drink. Yeah, I'll take a P.J. Walker.
Yeah, and then the Eagles won't take one. They have the 10th pick thanks to the Saints. So shout out to them.
Saints took aggression out on them yesterday.
And then the Steelers are going to have like the 34th pick thanks for Chase Claypool, who hasn't done nothing.
Of course, before they made this winning streak, these to go on this roll, they're going to have like the 6th pick or something like that. I thought, they're going to get somebody really good. Now they keep winning, and it's like, ugh. But I'm just hoping they take offensive line. That's what they need the most. So,
well, like I said, in fairness to Pittsburgh, they're really young. I think they're on the right track, and I kind of hope they win so Tomlin's streak keeps going. Because at first it was like 1-5. There ain't no way he's keeping this streak. Should do 8-8. They have a chance.
Yeah. Well, Pittsburgh's problem is their offense is never at the same age gap as the defense. The offense is older and the defense is young. Or the offense is young like it is now with a lot of young, promising players, but the defense is older. So, I mean, T.J. Watt's still got a while, but Cam Hayward's probably in the last year or 2 of his career, and Minka's getting up there. And, Pittsburgh's not a freewheeling team with a lot of money, so they don't go out and sign a lot of big-name free agents. I mean, they get like the second-tier guys. I mean, they went out and signed James Daniel, which was a big signing for them this year. But, yeah, so it's, draft and, low-budget free agents. That's the way Pittsburgh builds.
Yeah. So, there you go. That's the NFL. And college football, I guess. Unless we have anything else to say about football playoff?
No, it'll play out, and next time we talk with you guys, we'll have a little clearer picture of what's going to head, and we can maybe provide what we think might transpire going forward at that time.
And then the 8 teams playoff? That's 2 years, right? The college football playoff.
Yeah.
expansion.
Yep.
So we'll have to do this again.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and then I'll try and go through this fairly quickly because
Okay.
baseball free agency. We did our last podcast 3 weeks ago. That started. Well, there's been 3 weeks worth of stuff. So I just kind of wanted to talk about the big ones. And I think the biggest one we want to start off with is probably Carlos Correa.
And that's still not resolved, is
It's
it?
still not resolved. So the Giants signed up to a 13-year deal, and the Giants were one of my big losers of the free agency. I don't think I said it on air because I forgot, but I think the Giants were.
I forgot. You guys are losers.
No, that's not what I said.
Oh.
That's not what I meant.
Oh.
If I did say that, I apologize. That's not what I meant. The Giants were the biggest losers, and I forgot to say that on air, is what I thought I said. Because for years they've been trying to get a star free agent to come to San Francisco, and they shoot out every year. It was Aaron Judge, and then it was someone else before that. I can't think of who it was. But there's always a sweepstakes every year, and they always bite the dust. And sure enough, they signed Carlos Correa, a 13-year deal. Ooh, Carlos Correa, that's a superstar to San Francisco. That's great for him. Well, it turns out his physical sucked, so they shipped him off. And then the Mets signed him at like 1 in the morning to a 12-year deal, which the Mets have been going bananas with their spending. And I think all the MLB owners are freaking out because Steve Cohen's just, whatever. Fling it all to the air.
He's trying to buy a championship, which I'm sure the Mets fans love.
Yeah. Which is one of the big issues with baseball, that there's no hard cap for them to do nothing. They can just spend money whatever the hell they want. And then, we'll just pay. They have that luxury tax. We'll just pay the extra millions. That's okay. Well, whatever. So, I mean, if you have the money to do it, they can. That's the only bad part. So, basically, the injury is with an ankle. He injured in 2014. And Aunt Tammy made the point when I was talking to her about this. Shout out Aunt Tammy. She goes, well, it hasn't bothered him. Well, I mean, he's been hurt sometimes, but it hasn't been an issue for the Astros, which, in fairness, is okay. But I think she also said it, too. I guess if you're signing this guy to a 13-year deal, you want to make sure that your future investment is going to be good.
That's a long time.
Especially if you're giving him all this guaranteed money. So if this ankle is really that bad, he has a chance to hurt it again, I'd understand why. So, technically, the Mets and him haven't agreed to the deal, but I think they said they're still pending something. It's probably going to work out. But if it didn't, that'd be fun for like a crappier team to kind of sneak in and snag him for like 5 years or something.
Well, I know several teams have reached out to his agent after this Met thing kind of cropped up.
Because I think it's Scott Boras is his agent, who's the agent for pretty much every baseball player.
Yeah.
So I guess Carlos Correa is still up in the air. But yeah, if the Mets get him and he stays healthy, that's just going to help their odds.
Oh, definitely.
So, because you think DeGrom was kind of starting off with DeGrom losing, it was just kind of like, what the hell, the Mets, they're going to fall apart. Nope, they're just going to buy everything. So, and then the next big one that broke was Carlos Rodon signing his 6-year deal with the Yankees.
Yeah.
And he looks disgusting because they have to shave their facial hair. And they just don't look right when they shave their facial hair and go to the Yankees. Which I also, being a Red Sox fan too, I hate the Yankees first off. Second off, that's such a stupid sorority thing. I hate that rule. Oh, you have to shave your beard. You can have a beard when you play for the Yankees. I think if I was traded to the Yankees, I'd be like, I'm keeping my beard. Sorry. Either trade me or let me keep it.
Well, did they pick you up then?
I don't. Did they say that before they signed? Are you okay with the beard or can you get rid of it?
Well, I think it's known that that's a rule.
No, it's known rule, but like what if someone didn't want to enforce it?
Well, who was it? Was it Giambi or somebody that got traded over there and was always sporting a beard and stuff, and he shaved it when he got traded over there?
Well, what's his face? Harrison Bader he shaved all his hair and his beard, and he looked like I was like, who the hell is that guy? I go, that's Harrison Bader. What the hell? So, close. As much as I hate it, it's a great signing for the Yankees. On my sheet I wrote A+, because it's only going to make their pitching staff better.
Yeah, and that's why it's so shitty, because nobody wants to see the Yankees any better.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So then you line that up with a rotation of Rodon, Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez, Luis Severino if he stays healthy. And Frankie Montas didn't have a great second half of the year when they traded for him. But if he pitches anything like he did in Oakland at the beginning of the year, that's a scary rotation.
Oh, yeah.
That no one wants to see, if healthy. So, and then with Judge coming back, it's stupid Yankees. It's just not fun. So no one wants to see any of this, but
he was named
for the Yankees is great.
Aaron Judge was named team captain.
16th captain in Yankees history, I believe.
First since Derek Jeter.
I like Aaron Judge. He's a good baseball player.
Yeah.
And he seems like a good guy. So.
Yes.
So, next one I wanted to talk about. Let's see here. I think Andrew Heaney has signed with the Rangers before, but I didn't really talk about it because I think we mentioned DeGrom, and we're kind of like, well, who cares? I mean, it's still the Rangers. What's DeGrom going to do? But then they also did sign Nathan Eovaldi and Jake Odorizzi to that squad, so that's a formidable pitching staff just kind of in the wake of a couple weeks.
I did see the Eovaldi signing, yeah.
I liked Eovaldi. He's a great. The only thing about him was his health, because he'd be really good. He could throw really fast, but then he'd always have something like his elbow or his shoulder. So if he's healthy and he's pitching at full strength, he's a great pickup. And so that gives the Rangers a decent staff. Does that put them in contention? I don't think so. Maybe competing for a wild card spot, because I think that division is still going to be it's going to be an Astros and a Mariners race for the whole year.
Texas is a tough place to pitch because it gets so hot. That's why they don't have many day games, of course. Naturally,
but they do have that dome.
Yeah.
So,
but still, I mean, it gets warm, and that humidity makes their balls flying out of parks.
So we'll see. Rangers may be a sleeper playoff team, I would say. I'm still not 100% sold, but I mean, like I said, they're kind of doing that White Sox, like they're going to sign guys and try and put a team out there because the title waiting, I guess. So, Justin Turner signed a 2-year deal with the Red Sox.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, where's he going to play?
DH.
He's not going to play third, is he?
He's probably going to DH.
He's not going to play outfield? He can play some outfield, can he?
I don't think they'll put him in the outfield because they have that. They just signed Tanaka.
Yeah.
They have Verdugo, and then they have someone else I can't think of right now. And then
Jackie Bradley Jr.?
No. That trade still doesn't make sense to me either. Talking about that. And then Story will be a short.
No.
Devers will be a third. And then they have that Tristan Cassis, their top prospect, will play first. And then second.
Well, they did release Hosmer, I saw.
Yeah. But then they said he had off with the Yankees, and he said it just didn't feel right to sign with the Yankees after playing for Boston. I said, sign him again. bring Hosmer back. He's playing it right. No, so, I mean.
Well, he probably should be in the American League. I mean, when he went to San Diego, he just didn't live up to his contract, and all new pitchers and stuff you have to learn and what have you. He just never got his footing in the National League.
Yes, and then Red Sox also signed what's his face, Corey Kluber to a 1-year deal.
I did see that. I thought that was. I told you when I saw that. I thought that was a pretty good signing.
Kike Hernandez is the other outfielder.
Oh, Kike.
I couldn't think of his name. So the second base is kind of a question mark. They'll probably put Christian Royal there, but I mean honestly. Besides that Xander Bogaerts thing, which is still stupid, by the way, the Red Sox didn't have that terrible of an offseason, I don't think. What this does for the future, or they're going to compete, they're going to rebuild, who knows? But they seem like they kind of want to try to compete. Does this put this in contention? No. But they fixed the bullpen. They got a starter. They lost 2 guys, and then they did somewhat decent getting a DH there. So, I mean.
Well, that's a tough division. The Yankees, of course, and then Baltimore's up and coming, and Toronto's not going to just sit by the wayside.
Tampa Bay's always good.
So Tampa Bay's good. So, yeah. I think they have a chance to,
I think the Red Sox had a lot of injuries last year.
I could see them winning 85, 90 games, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But, and then speaking of former Red Sox, JD Martinez signed a 1-year deal with the Dodgers.
Yeah, I saw that.
After a bad year. Well, I wouldn't say a bad. I guess it was kind of a bad year, but not a JD Martinez type year with Boston. They decided to go their separate ways, and so what better way to do it than on a team that's gunning for the World Series every year that has a stacked lineup.
And if he's healthy, he could play some games in the outfield and hit you probably 30 homers.
Yeah. Well, he had a big, long, 2-month streak where you didn't hit a homer. And that was kind of the big thing.
Well, but the fact that they went to a league-wide DH gives guys like him an opportunity to play in the NL, which otherwise they probably wouldn't have signed him.
Well, and then what better on a team that's stacked? He's got plenty of guys, even though they've lost a couple guys now. But.
Yeah, he kind of fill in like the Albert Pujols role that he was playing last year.
Mm-hmm. So, I think it's a good sign by the Dodgers. Christian Vasquez signed a 3-year deal with the Minnesota Twins catcher.
Yeah.
Former Red Sox as well. He's a great baseball player, underrated. Evan Longoria signed a 1-year deal with the Diamondbacks.
I saw that. I was surprised. I thought he was retired.
No, he was still in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
So, Gene Segura just signed with the Marlins. I believe it was a 3-year deal. So leaving the World Series bound Phillies to go play with Jazz Chisholm. who's one of the best players. Well, one of the most fun players to watch baseball. I won't say best. Dansby Swanson, 7-year with the Cubs.
Yeah, that was. I was kind of shocked by that because I thought they're kind of rebuilding and should go out and sign a big guy. But I mean, 7 years, maybe by his third year they're contending.
Well, I was thinking, he did play at Vanderbilt, and so he's already 28 because he was like the first round pick like 6 years ago. Well, the number 1 pick 6 years ago. But then I was reading up a little bit about him. He was like hurt in 2018, and then 2017 was his debut, and he got sent back down because he struggled.
Yeah.
Then he was hurt in 2018, hurt in 2019. Then he had a good 2020, good 2021 when he won the World Series, and then he was an All-Star last year. So I mean, kind of you could say this is their kind of building piece. After I said kind of like 8 times in that sentence, so the Cubs got their guy to kind of work around.
Mm-hmm.
So, David Robinson, I think we said to the Phillies. I don't remember if I said that, and so I wrote it down. But they also signed
the Admiral.
No, not David Robertson.
Oh, say okay.
Not David Robinson.
That would have been a real shock.
Yeah, they signed the 60-year-old
He
former center for the Spurs.
No bloopers over his head.
Yeah, but they also signed Craig Kimbrell is the reason why I wrote that.
Oh,
so just going to solidify that bullpen, even though he struggled his last stint with the Cubs.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, as peak, he'd be good. Joey Gallo to the Twins. I
saw that.
Syndergaard signed it with the Dodgers as well.
Good signing.
So, Sean Manaea went to the Giants. Good pitcher.
Former Royal.
Yeah.
If we're talking about former players for our team.
Mostly known to the Athletics. Chris Bassett, I think we talked about, but he signed with the Blue Jays to a 3-year deal. Joey Gallo went to the Twins. And then Andrew Benintendi had a 5-year deal with the White Sox.
Yeah, that was a little much, but compared to other signings,
Well, I think Benintendi's a good player. Maybe not worth that money you're talking about, but I think it's a decent signing. The White Sox had done nothing. They have just been losing. They haven't been adding. So they finally did something.
$15 million a year.
Oh, that's my boss.
Oh.
Messaging me, so that's great. That's
all. Want to work today?
I do work today already.
You don't have Jordan Lyles written down there?
Jordan Lyles, no.
2-year deal with the Royals?
No, I didn't.
$17.5 million?
Ryan Yarborough.
Yeah.
Yarborough, whatever his name is.
Yeah, their philosophy is we're just going to try to go with people we have and try to make them better. I'm like, oh, yay. What did your boss say? He's still reading.
She forwarded us a message that said we had to take down our holiday hour signs.
Oh.
For New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
Nice.
Because it's past now.
All right.
So that's what I had for baseball.
I know. Did you want to talk about Luka?
Well,
he lives on the second floor?
Well, I was saving that for my the Nuggets section.
Oh, he doesn't play for the Nuggets?
No, that's not what I meant.
Oh, okay. All right. Anything else you want to get to?
Okay.
Or have you covered your whole gamut?
Well, I had baseball, and then I had football. Because the NBA, I don't really have much to talk about.
Okay.
Besides Celtics stuff, the best record in the league, even though they lost last night.
To?
The Denver Nuggets.
Oh, I thought you were waiting for it on your Nuggets. As soon as you get that soundboard up, we can actually play a real. All right.
There's some days I hate this pod, and this is one of the reasons why. All right. You ready?
Ready for what?
Fast Intention Nuggets. Don't say nothing about firing up the
I don't have any fast intention nuggets. I want to get to I want to review the top sports stories of 2022.
Oh, I forgot you had this as a category.
And
I thought you were leading me into the Nuggets section.
No, I was just messing with you.
Oh, okay, great.
Chicken McNugget. I'm going to review some of the top stories from the past year and just get your reaction or our reactions and reflect on some of them. Some of them we might have forgot about, and then others will be, last few months will be fairly fresh in our minds. So,
all right. Well, we'll just start
we'll
from
just
January on.
Yeah,
or?
yeah.
Okay.
I'll give you the date and I'll tell you, and you tell me if you remember this or not. Early last year, January 2nd, Antonio Brown tears off his jersey, walks off the field, waving to the crowd, says he's done playing.
Versus the Jets.
You remember that?
Yep. I saw a tweet about it today because it was the 1-year anniversary of it.
Okay.
So, yes, I do remember this.
All right. January 3rd, Big Ben Roethlisberger retires from football.
Yeah.
They were playing, got a late turnover, and the offense was actually able to come back out on the field, and he was able to take the last snap, kneel down and finish his career.
Was that the That wasn't the last game, though, right? Because then they played the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Well, it was the last regular season game at home
Okay.
to finish his career.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. January 25th, David Ortiz, first full-time DH ever elected to the Hall of Fame.
Damn straight.
I know you're familiar with this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to shell out $5,000 and go to the Cooperstown, but, can't do that.
February 13th, the Rams win the Super Bowl.
I remember that.
Yeah, good game.
Good halftime show.
Yep.
Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg,
Yeah.
all the homies.
Some guy hanging from the rafters upside down.
50 Cent. Go, Sean.
That's all it was worth.
It's your birthday.
March 11th, Greg Popovich becomes the all-time winningest coach in NBA history, passing Donnie Nelson.
I do remember that, too.
Yeah.
I don't remember who he played, but I remember the stat.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Greg Popovich.
All right. I didn't put a date on this, but do you remember the basketball tourney, the NCAA basketball tournament, St. Peter's,
Oh, yeah.
15 seed, makes it to the Elite Eight by beating number 2 seed Kentucky, number 7 seed Murray State, and number 3 seed Purdue.
I do remember that.
First 15 seed to make it. Also, in that same tourney, Coach K loses in the Final Four to North Carolina and retires from basketball
I did watch that game.
after a long career. Yeah. April 23rd, Miguel Cabrera gets his 3,000th hit. Pretty sure Hall of Famer.
Sorry.
Wouldn't you agree?
My phone keeps vibrating. Yeah,
That's fine.
Miggy, yeah, first class.
Yep.
Top 20 baseball player of all time.
June 26th, Ole Miss Rebels, one of the last 4 teams in to the College World Series tourney, wins it all in Omaha.
Who won?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Mississippi State must have been the year before.
Yeah.
Because I remember that, and they had that stupid chant, and it was so annoying. One side go maroon, the other one go white, and they kept yelling over and over.
Well, I always hate when the Vanderbilt makes it and they have that Whistler guy. He drives me crazy just listening to him on TV.
And then seeing them there.
August 3rd, Vin Scully signs off the air for the last time.
Yep. Rest in peace. Sorry, I didn't mean to yawn. Rest in peace, Vince Scully.
August 28th, Hawaii wins the Little League World Series, outscoring other teams 60-5.
Yeah, I don't remember that much. I don't like watching Little League World Series.
Okay.
Shout out Hawaii.
Serena Williams and Roger Federer both retire from tennis.
Yeah, that doesn't feel that long ago.
Yeah.
What was that?
That was early September, I believe. So within a week or two of each other. September 23rd, Albert Pujols hits home run number 700. I believe he hit 2 in one game to get there.
699 and 700.
Yes. October 4th, Aaron Judge hits number 60 in Toronto.
Cool.
October 8th, Tennessee beats Alabama for the first time since 2006.
That was an exciting game.
That was a great game.
Mhm.
51-45 or something like that in that area.
Tennessee was way up on them, weren't they, at the beginning?
A little bit. I remember I was listening to it while I was working. It was a fun game to listen to. October 18th, NBA issues a league-wide retirement of Bill Russell's number.
Rest in peace, Bill Russell.
Yeah. Let's see. October 29th, brawl in the tunnel underneath the stadium between Michigan and Michigan State.
Oh, yeah, we had a debate about that.
Several Michigan State players suspended. Astros win the World Series November 5th, making Dusty Baker the oldest manager at 73 to win the World Series.
Boo the Astros, but shout out Dusty Baker.
Agree. November 13th, 3 Virginia football players are killed by a teammate. Right after we left Buffalo, Buffalo gets 80 inches of snow and is forced to move their game to Detroit.
That's one of the biggest stories of the year.
Well, 80 inches of snow.
Uh-huh.
Well, it was relevant because the storm started right when we left Buffalo.
No, I remember that.
So we got out of town just in time.
Just like Boston, they had a big snowstorm when we left, too.
Yep. December 13th,
We
Mike
made the
Lee,
snow.
the Pirate, dies at age 61.
Who?
Mike Leach.
Oh, yeah, Michael Leach. So I thought you said something else.
Nope. December 14th, Alex Ovechkin becomes the third player in NHL history to score 800 goals behind Wayne Gretzky and Gordie Howe, who got 801.
I did see something about that.
Yeah, so he'll definitely pass Gordie Howe. Whether or not he catches Gretzky, I think Gretzky's at 8:47. But I mean, Alex isn't slowing down a lot. I mean, I could see him playing for another couple of years if he chooses to. December 13th, Minnesota rallies from 33 points down to beat the Colts in overtime.
Jeff Saturday lost his job. It shows that's what his said.
And December 20th, Franco Harris passes away several days before the Steelers are going to retire his number and celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception.
Rest in peace, Franco Harris.
Yeah, that's
Rest in peace, Mike Leach, and all the students in Virginia.
Yeah, that's just a year in review. I mean, there's other stories, but some of them are more minor sports that we don't really cover or talk about. So
yeah,
it was just interesting. Some of those things like that happened earlier last year. I didn't realize they happened last year. It was just kind of, brought them back to mind, and I said, "Oh yeah, I remember that happening." So, all right, you want to introduce the Nugget segment?
Sure. It's time for Fast Intentions Nuggets.
Fire up the boosters.
All right. Well, my first nugget, you already mentioned it. It was about Luka. First ever 60-point, 20-rebound, 10-assist game in the NBA history. It's kind of crazy to think about. You think like Wilt Chamberlain would have done it because Wilt Chamberlain did like everything.
Yeah, he averaged like 50 points a game for an entire season or something like that, I believe. So that's incredible.
Like 20 rebounds, yeah.
Yes.
But no, he did it, and it was only a little bit after Dirk got his statue put up in Dallas.
Oh.
Because I was going to have that as a nugget, and because they
I guess you just did.
Yeah, well, he did. They put it up, and they had the ceremony, and I think a commentator said, "Oh, maybe Luka could have his statue up, but maybe because he's only like 23." But then he ended up having a 60-20-10 game like a few days after. So Luka said, "Yeah, give me a statue."
Yeah, he's kind of on a hot streak the last several games. He's been playing super.
Very good basketball player.
I don't think it's sustainable, but can he carry that team? Is there enough help around him, or do they need to make him move?
He kind of carried them last year to the Western Conference Finals. So that was the big thing about Dallas. They talk about, well, Luka has to do everything, and then the other guys is kind of there. Because they need that's the thing they're worried about in Dallas, that they need a complementary star to go with Luka, and they don't know if you'll be able to mesh with like another like top guy. Because
Russell Westbrook.
That's not. Well, they would like another point guard. They said maybe Kyrie Irving, if they were going to trade him, would be a good spot. But the Nets have won like 12 in a row, so they're not. That's not going to be a thing now. Brooklyn's looking good. They're the second seed right now.
Well, I don't think Mark Cuban would be shy with his money if there's a right deal out there for him.
But they've tried with Porzingis. They traded for Christian Wood, who's been coming off the bench, so he hasn't really turned into that second guy. So he has a lot of shooters around him, but if they're not doing nothing, it's kind of just the Lucas show.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Sad news today. Texas baseball coach, or ex-Texas baseball coach, Cliff Gustafson, easy for me to say, passed away this morning because of heart failure at age 91. Brought the Longhorns to Omaha many times, and very successful career, and led that program.
All right. Well, my second nugget was, did you see Robert Griffin III?
No, I did not see him.
Well, he was doing the simulcast for the college football playoff.
Uh-huh.
And his wife was going into labor.
Oh.
So he got a call, and so he ran off the field. And he got a Southwest flight to go see his wife. Well, it turns out it was just like she didn't actually go into labor. But he said, well, I spend every New Year's with my wife, so they just knew I had to be with her.
Oh.
So now he's back at home with his wife still. So shout out Robert Griffin III. Hopefully that baby's coming.
Yeah, he's turned into a pretty decent broadcaster. I don't mind listening to him.
Yeah, well, he's done a few Nebraska games with what's his face?
Yeah.
That Mark Davis. I swear every game I watch on ESPN, Mark Davis is the commentator for it. Which I like Mark Davis. He's good at basketball a lot. And he's pretty good at football, so.
Okay. North Carolina State radio broadcaster Gary Hahn was suspended indefinitely after referring to illegal aliens in El Paso after their loss to Maryland in the Duke's Mayo Bowl, where the winning coach gets mayo dumped on his head. He made the comment, was relaying the score of the Sun Bowl, saying, "Down among all the illegal aliens in El Paso, it's UCLA 14 at Pittsburgh 6." I don't.
What a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, I don't. I don't foresee him keeping his job, but you never know. But yeah, that was just sometimes you need to think before you speak.
Well, like, why the hell would you even say that? Like, there's no reason to like.
He's probably
Racist.
no, not racist. He's probably just against the open borders and whatever, and that's just his thoughts spilling out.
Yeah, whatever. Because like that's okay. We'll just skip by that. No, sorry, but it was just kind of funny. It's like, oh, he got suspended for saying this bad with more in the mail bowl, where they throw the mail in the coach. It's just like, what the hell is he talking about right now? That was just a weird transition.
I was trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
I know.
We've talked a lot about people passing away at this time. So,
and then my last nugget. Did you see? Well, obviously Georgia and Ohio State played on New Year's Eve. Well, they had the ball drop in New York. Well, the Ohio State, when he missed the kick and it went right when the ball landed, it was actually right when it went to midnight.
And I did hear him talking about that last night, actually, on the Steeler Baltimore broadcast.
Yeah, so right when it landed and Stetson Bennett ran out on the field celebrating, it had just hit midnight. It was like they were celebrating the New Year. I thought it was kind of funny. There was like a video. They had like a matchup of it. So.
Okay. Soccer legend Pele passed away. He'd been sick and in the hospital for quite a while, and he finally succumbed to his illness. I'm not a big soccer fan, but I can remember it was a big deal when he came to New York to play for the New York Cosmos, and it was the first time that like a foreign soccer star had come to play in the United States, and he helped bring interest to soccer here in this country, and really spurred on the Cosmos, and they were a phenomenon there in the 70s when he was at his prime, and he's always been a fixture. He's just one of those legendary figures in soccer. So I know the soccer community will sorely miss him, and rest in peace to him and his family.
Yeah, rest in peace, Pele. I did see that. I didn't have any more. Did you have another one?
I had a couple. NFL Sunday Ticket's going to move to YouTube TV starting with 2023 season. And
is it YouTube TV or YouTube?
YouTube. Let me see. The NFL announced a multi-year agreement on Thursday for Google to distribute the league's Sunday Ticket package of out-of-market Sunday afternoon games on YouTube TV and YouTube primetime channels. The 7-year deal is worth a little more than $2 billion per season. The package has been on DirecTV since 1994, and the satellite provider had paid $1.5 billion per year on an 8-year contract that expired at the end of this season. The NFL was looking for $2.5 billion, but settled for $2 billion when they didn't get any better offers.
Yeah, we'll just accept $2 billion.
Which is fairly exciting for me because I've made the decision to cut my ties to Cox Cable and go to YouTube TV. So, yay me. Hopefully that won't be an extra expense and raise my fees.
It will be.
Oh, dang it.
When you spend $2 billion on it, you better hope to charge you for it.
Yeah. And it's not really in the sports realm, but another passing sadly was Barbara Walters. She was Oprah before Oprah and social media. So there was like a big news story and there was an interview to be had. People went to Barbara Walters and, it was like a primetime special on ABC or whatever. And the nice thing about Barbara Walters was she wouldn't take, if somebody was sitting there trying to bullshit her, she would call him out on it. And just a pioneer in the media world before social media, as I said. Like I said, if there was a story that needed to be told or had to be told, she was the one that you would go to be interviewed. And she was very fair with her guests and yeah, you just go back in history. A lot of the big moments, back then were followed up by an interview with Barbara Walters. So, rest in peace to her. Another, pioneer and legend from my childhood is gone. So, and the last thing, on a positive note, I was out shopping the other day. Checking the after Christmas sales. And are you a big candy cane fan? Do you like candy canes, the peppermint candy canes?
Not really.
Oh. Well, the last several years they've come out with they flavor them, different kinds of flavors of this or that, or Airheads or Sour Patch Kids or whatever the flavors are. Well, I found a box of Twinkie flavored candy canes. Now, I haven't tried these yet. I'm not sure if I want to or not. I don't know if I want a Twinkie candy cane to be a realistic thing or not. So we're not going to do it on the air, but I think we might.
Sure.
You want to try one on the air?
Well, it's not going to sound good on the mics.
You hear we spare no expense for our sound effects here at Fast Intentions. So yeah, we'll maybe give our review of these on our Twitter page, which is what, Nathan?
I hate you. At F Intentions Pod.
Yes, and where else can we be found? YouTube?
You got it.
YouTube?
No, I know. YouTube.
Fast Intentions Podcast. Please subscribe. I noticed we have had a couple new subscribers, so please hit base with us. Let us know who you are, and we can hook you up with the Fast Intentions. I'm pointing at Nathan. He's staring at me. Koozie! Yes. Who doesn't want to start?
I just don't like to give in to your bullcrap.
Oh, thank you.
It's not bullcrap, though, because this is all true information.
Who doesn't want to start 2023 with a brand new Fast Intentions koozie?
I sure wouldn't.
I know, right? After that ringing endorsement. Thank you for those who subscribed.
Hey, listen.
And we're also on
Spotify. Rate 5 stars.
Yeah, please rate us and review us. And
we're also on Anchor.
Yeah. Have you heard more back from them?
No.
Okay.
It's probably in my spam somewhere.
Okay.
Maybe.
So we would love it if you'd share our podcast with your friends or just out there on social media. That's the only way we're going to grow. But once again, happy 2023. We're glad you're here with us, and we look forward to a good year. So, Nathan, you got anything else to say?
Vikings suck.
Okay. So do the Ravens. Goodbye.